This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's get right into the news. Well, Lil Durk and Lil Baby look like they're going to sell about 190,000 to 200,000 copies of their album the first week, which is extremely impressive in this climate. So they're doing really well. People want it. And then we got Lloyd Banks. He dropped. Great album. It's The Course and the Inevitable. There's a song on there called Stranger Things. On that song, he seems to address his issues with 50 Cent. Him and 50 Cent haven't gotten along in a while. Back in 2018, 50 Cent talked about, Lloyd Banks talked about retiring. He talked about, I fell in love with hip-hop 25 years ago. It was that thing I turned to for good times and the bad. I just want to thank the artists before me that inspired me to send appreciation for everyone who supported till this day. Thank you. And then he kind of did some retirement thing. 50 Cent took it as he's retiring. He said, I'd be like, I got stuff to do. Lloyd Banks be like, retirement. And this stems from Lloyd Banks taking pictures with Game years prior when there was, they weren't getting along still. And 50 Cent, what do you see in this picture? I see confusion. This stuff doesn't get old for me. I never ask for trouble, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm different. The question isn't how I feel about it. It's how does Lodi Mac feel about it? Just some questions. I'll be honest. 50 Cent put on Lloyd Banks, Yayo, Young Buck, made them millionaires, put them before his own second album. But I do understand them having problems with 50 Cent as well, because it's hard. They knew him as one person, and then he grew into a superstar, and to them, he acted different. He was more of their boss now, Lloyd Banks never liked 50 Cent calling him quiet, lazy, talent never faded. This is what he said in the song. He called me quiet, call me lazy, talent never faded. It's frustrating when you're grinded and it isn't appreciated. You could talk about 50 Cent there, because 50 Cent was very vocal that Lloyd Banks was lazy to him, He talked about 50 Cent. Let's see, I think there was a line in the first verse where he talks about 50 Cent becoming a boss. He says, let's see, it was sick. He talks about having 50 Cent's back no matter what. Then he talks about, but don't get ahead of yourself. I didn't benefit from this. Nobody sees your vision until you're successful. To become successful will validate your special. Let's see, don't ever bite the hand if you disrespectfully. Now, then he also talks about he never went against 50 Cent, because he didn't. He said, don't ever bite the hand that feeds you. That's disrespectful. That's true. He never did speak out against 50 Cent, which was good. I thought that was that's why I always respect Banks more. He always just took a different role, he internalized it. He knew there was nothing to benefit from going back and forth with 50 Cent. He complains about 50 Cent building him up to shoot him down. He says, it looks painful for you to smile. There's problems here. He doesn't like the love that he gets from 50 Cent. It feels fake almost, Then lastly, he talks about, his time and gain, chain of Rhine, how to win. What did he say right here? He said, your favorites know I'm dedicated, always humble, never hated. He talked about somewhere where I can't recognize who you've become, basically. I can't find the exact line. But he said, basically, I can't recognize who you've become, now that you're the leader of the pack. It might be, here it is. Sometimes the pressure overwhelms when you're the head of the clique, but don't get ahead of yourself. I didn't benefit. Nobody sees your vision. And then he says, basically, I don't recognize the person that you've become anymore. So, I don't know, man. Then he said, got a big safe of favors I'll never land. Nothing's forever. I get it. The whole Michael Jackson. Lloyd Banks is amazing with lyrics. I gotta say that. Like, that's pretty clever right there. Got a big safe of favors, and I'll never lend. Nothing's forever. Anyways, go check out the Lloyd Banks album. I think it's really good. And I think, this is a healthy track. He gets some things off his chest without being disrespectful or anything. It's just, this is how he feels about the situation. He's going to keep moving forward. I think he's going to do well on this release, and he's doing very well with the merch, obviously. So congrats to him. Anyways, guys, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. There's not much else going on, but I'll keep you guys up to date if anything breaks. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll check you guys in the next one.